All right, so we are rolling. We got the man, the myth, the legend, David Lopez, aka DLO, in the building, man. Appreciate you for coming by.
I appreciate you for having me. What's cracking, dog?
It's gonna be live. Y'all stay tuned. All right, we rolling here with the brother David Lopez. Man, I want to just tell you, appreciate you for coming and toast. Hold on, and let me so the people see. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Don't worry about what's in my cup. Don't worry about what's in my cup.
No, that's dope juice. That's all that is.
Cafecito, baby.
But I just want to tell you, man, like, congratulations to the success, the rap game.
Appreciate it, man.
Real estate game, the marriage, the kids, all that, man. Like, it's good to see people you used to play ball with, like, progressing. And see you make that transition into real life. So it's dope to have you here. Pulled up to the concert last week. My bad. I had to get home early, so I didn't actually see the man perform.
That was a weird night. That was a weird night, though. It was the Mike Tyson fight. It was so the show got pushed back late. It was like a long.
But I'm like, let me get the album. I listened to the album all the way through.
Appreciate
dope.
that.
I'm gonna
Appreciate that, man.
We're gonna get into that later. Before we transition into rap, I want to just talk about his upbringing. We're gonna show this man some grace. He's not from here. He from the shop.
Yeah. But you know what, man? It's true. I'm from Chicago, but I've been up here for, now I do the math, I've been up here for a lot of years.
And we're gonna get into that 2 p.m. 2 p.m. We're gonna get into that with the album you mentioned. You got some dope lines on that we're gonna bring up.
Yeah.
But I know this man from Concordia.
CU Dub.
So he did his thing at CU Dub, shooter. He called himself Jamal Crawford, and that's valid. So what I want to do is I want to get into this man early story and talk about where he's from, how he got into basketball, just his early childhood. So where you from, sir, originally?
Chicago, Rogers Park, north side of the city, born and raised. My parents still live in the same house that I grew up in. Nice. So I try to go back all the time. But
nice.
Bears fan, Bulls fan, it is what it is. I did marry a Packers fan, so we got to see what the kids decide on their, where they're gonna be at. But
we gonna cut up some grace, So growing up in that area, and I actually I delivered to Chicago a lot just with my job I already used to. So I'm familiar with just the vibes of the city, bro. How was it growing up there?
I mean, I loved my childhood. But a lot of it has to do with, I grew up on a block in Rogers Park that was just like, it didn't feel any different than honestly a regular neighborhood here, really. It was just a regular neighborhood. It wasn't like I was in the middle of downtown or anything. But also my block had 4 or 5 kids that were all in the same age range. And I have an older brother. So my childhood honestly was, I look back with very fond memories. I was just playing sports every day. We had a camera out. We were filming stuff every day. It was just we had a very normal, fun, in the city, but just a fun childhood.
Dope. What got you into hooping? Because as a kid, I'm pretty sure you did it all.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, but so I grew up in Chicago in the 90s. So I have an older brother. He's 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
And shout out to my brother Dom.
Salute to you.
He was obsessed with basketball, and so was I. It was literally my whole life. We played other sports. We played baseball every day. We played football. All the stuff you do. But me and my brother, honestly, we were the ones that were just obsessed with basketball.
That's dope. That's dope.
We had, my brother had printed out on a piece of paper fake championship banners from all 6 of the championships. So we had I remember I would go to sleep at night on our bunk bed, and you would see Judd Bushler and all the random names from these Bulls teams. So I knew weird NBA facts at a young age.
Let me ask you, bro, how iconic Bulls in the 90s? Yeah. How iconic was that? Living in that area for you in that time frame.
I mean, I was so young, but put it this way, I never got to go to one of those games because we never had, you couldn't afford a ticket.
Oh, yeah.
We went, the only time I went to a Bulls game when I was a kid was when Mike was retired at 94, when Scotty was just the man. It was one of those years.
Yeah.
But it was everything. I mean, he's Mike ran the city.
I can imagine, bro. I can imagine. So was that an influence on you in terms of picking up the ball?
I think just the general energy around it. Like honestly, if you're in a city where the team is like really good, there's just more like positive energy around the sport, around everything.
For sure.
We had a little hoop in our backyard, and we like did like a neighborhood basketball league.
Oh
yeah,
championship rallies. Y'all had it cracking in the neighborhood,
bro. I'm telling you, man, it was it was just all sports.
So I will give Chicago credit on this. The food scene. Italian beef.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Pizza, burgers. In terms of your experience, bro, living in Chicago, what's your favorite food and what's your favorite spot to get that?
Oh, this is tough. I like
I'm showing Chicago some love right now, man.
Yeah, I love this. Well, first of all, when you think of pizza in Chicago, what do you think of?
So I'm gonna say deep dish just because that's not as big here.
Yeah, that's the generic. That's the generic Chicago.
It's the generic. So put me on game. Well,
no. I mean, deep dish is great. And it's definitely a Chicago style, but it's like most Chicagoans, like you're having deep dish maybe like once every month or 2 months. Like it's not. It's a rarity.
Really?
Whereas I'd say like a pub style pizza, like thin crust pizza. That's like the go-to for sure.
Dang, bro, I'm a fat boy, bro. That don't fill me up, dog.
Bro, I could just eat so much of it. But, I will say one of the neighborhood joints that I grew up ordering pizza from all the time. 2 of them.
Yeah.
JB Alberto's, shout out to JB's, that's a Rogers Park spot, and Gulliver's, which is no longer there, but like those are just north side spots that we used to order from all the time. So I love those spots. But then in terms of like in the cut, like real Chicago spots that we used to go to all the time was Jim's, which is like Polish sausage, just like right next to Maxwell's. It's off the expressway. That was our go-to. Like when I got a little older and you're taking a cruise, you go to like Jim's. Like that was the spot. Get a Polish or a pork chop sandwich. Ooh,
what? So let me ask you this, bro. We're gonna stay on Chicago for a little bit longer, bro. We know Chicago like is known for like music, food, but unfortunately, like it's on a negative tip, just some of the violence and just gang activity that goes on just in the city, bro. How was you able to navigate that and stay out the way?
I mean, sports is I think in general, you know, like when you're, when you find like a passion or something that you're just in love with, it really can keep your head on just like kind of for the most part. And I'm not going to like act like I grew up like in the streets or in the hood or anything, but like I grew up in the city. So like, I was around. Yeah, I was around shit. I mean, I know that shit, but like it was always like I was the basketball player. Like I remember getting pulled over once with all my friends in our neighborhood. And like the cops looking at me, and these are like my friends, like my brothers, like childhood friends. And I remember the cop looking at me and being like, "Why are you hanging out with them? Like, what are you doing?" Like that's kind of the energy that was around that. And like, everybody knew that. I guess I was just lucky. I had a good household and had my head on my shoulders. Like I never really slipped into too much of the shit that I saw a lot of people slip into.
Yeah, that's a blessing, bro.
And I will say to your point about the just the gang culture and the violence culture, like if when I travel anywhere and they're like, "Where are you from?" Like Chicago, they're always like, "Ooh." And it's like, that's very true for sure, but like, it's a huge city.
It is big. Chicago is huge, bro.
You're not running into that everywhere you go. You know, stay out the way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, when it's time to pick a high school, you got your basketball background. What's the decision?
Yeah, so I wanted to go to the school in the city, Von Steuben. I really wanted to go there. That's where all my friends went. They had a really good basketball program, really high up in the city. Not all my friends, but some of my friends. My parents weren't like super excited about that. I definitely was not going to my neighborhood school. They didn't want me to do that. So what happened was it was between Von and then Loyola, which was where Michael Jordan's kids went. That's where my older brother went. Didn't really want to go there, but my brother didn't even have a good experience there. But then I was like, whatever, it could be good. Who knows?
Did he hoop there? Or?
He did his freshman year, and then it just didn't. It wasn't a good experience. And he's good. Like my brother is a baller. But then, so what happened was I ended up going to Luther North, which actually I know you're not supposed to be, but I was recruited in grade school. Like they sent me letters. In the Lutheran school pipeline, they do that. So I just knew a bunch of people that went to the same high school, and then my parents were like, "This is it." Yeah. You know, big fish, small pond. Come on.
Right. What was the experience there? Did they have a good program? Did you know a lot of kids that was there?
I knew it. It was one of those things where I was going to the basketball camp in 8th grade. And So I played summer league with them when I was in 8th grade and stuff so I knew all the guys. I was in there. And then all in all, I mean, no, they didn't have like a great sports program, but it was a really small school. So like 300-ish kids in the middle of the city, bro. Tiny school. But I had a good experience as far as like being happy and being with everybody and stuff like that. But it was like 20 minutes away from my crib. So like, I wasn't one of those kids who was like my high school friends were all my friends. Like I had all my other friends, and then I had my high school and my hoopers and all that shit. And I played varsity like my freshman year, so so it was like it was like I said, big fish.
I seen that on the bio, man. 1,400 points for the career, man. Doing work, man.
That was here's the thing. So career leader in points, which is awesome. I love that. But then my school shut down, so nobody's beating that record, bro. That record is actually,
how long after you graduated did you get shut down?
I want to say 5 years. Well, so I probably like 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
And one kid came like within very close to breaking the record. And they're still close.
Hey, that's crazy. But so if you know about Chicago, you know D Rose from Chicago. So were you ever able to play against D Rose?
No, I never played against him. I saw him playing in high school. Going to his high school games were like going to a Bulls game or something.
Oh, for sure.
It was like super, like the crowds would be crazy. But I remember going to watch him play. Like he's the funnest player I've ever seen play. Man. Especially live, you see like the quick twitch. You're like, yo, what the? Like he was not huge.
That's video game-ish though.
Yeah, bro, really.
No, y'all. But don't shout out to D Rose. But y'all had Evan Turner from Chicago.
That's what I saw. I saw them play against.
Yeah. Who else? Demetrius McCamey.
He was on the same team.
Who won that game?
That's a good question. Who did win that game? That was at Northwestern, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
Because they had to be 1-2 in the state.
Something like that. I feel like Simeon won, but I'm not sure here. But I mean, John Shire. I played against John Shire.
How was that?
I don't tell this story whenever if John sees this.
Go ahead.
This was just a pickup game. You know, like he's a stud, dude. He wasn't probably. He doesn't remember this. Yeah. I was on fire. Like we were guarding each other. It was one of those days where I was just on fire, and I was like, I remember because of course I know who he was. So I was all right.
Like, you getting my best, homie.
Just one of those days where I was hitting.
Y'all was loaded. Pat Bev is from Chicago.
Sharon Collins.
Dog.
Yeah.
Dog. Who else from?
A lot, but JaVale McGee. There's a lot of guys.
I remember hearing that.
There's a lot, but what I've been noticing lately, especially lately, is how many Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's
really on the up as far as like NBA players.
Like, Jay Poole, Jordan Poole, Hero, Diamond Stone had a couple coffee in the league. Loon.
I mean, but even like in the area, isn't Pods from the area, right?
Yeah, we from Greenfield.
Okay,
yeah. So Wisconsin is definitely on the come up. Yeah,
Looney. I mean, he's on a dynasty. I mean, like that's crazy.
Right, for sure. So
wait. Let me ask this to you. Let me ask you, who's like when you were growing up playing? Who's like some big names that you played against? That like
Corey Lucius.
Yep. Okay.
Jamil Wilson. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Jerron Maimon, who ended up playing at Marquette, then went to Tennessee. That was Corey was 08. Jerron and Jamil was Montgray 09. Who else? Deontay Garrett went to Vincent. He ended up playing 2 years in the league.
I thought he did. I was like, that sounds really
good. He played like 2 years in the league. Dwight Bites played at Marquette. He did like 2 or 3 years in the league.
Isn't it also crazy? I'm sure you played against people that you were like, this guy's probably going to the league, and then something.
Yeah, bro. That's the story for the city, bro. There's so many people you like, dude. If you just stay out the way, you could be there. But like,
do you remember Jeremy Richmond played for Illinois?
Yes.
So I
heard the backstory.
Of course, there's a lot of backstory. I played in this league.
Yeah.
Enjoy the game when he was going to be a freshman. He already committed to Illinois.
Yeah.
And me and him were on the same team, and I remember playing with him. I was doing pick and rolls. This kid is 14 years old.
Yeah.
Pick and roll, drop step dunking, and then obviously pulling up, doing moves. And I remember telling my friends, I'm like, this dude is playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
He will be an NBA player.
Yeah.
And you never know. Never know.
Yeah, unfortunately, stuff happened with Doug. And what I didn't get is like he tried to go to the league after like 1 year at Illinois, and I'm like, bro, he
wasn't cut out for school. I think that's kind of
Yeah, you wish like the G League Unite and all that.
Right,
stuff. If that was around, he would have been perfect for like some.
I think you're right. That's a beneficial thing that's now there as an option. Like not everybody wants to go. Like Jalen Green, these guys don't need to go to school. They already know. They already know.
It's a waste of time, bro.
Yeah.
So did your thing at Luther North. Now it's time to pick a school. What's that process like?
Well, man, shout out to my mom. Thank you to my mom. She treated like early on, of course, the dream was like D1. I remember the freshman, like, whatever you're thinking that. You start to see that might not be there. I got some D2 interest, so I was really hoping for that to pan out. But I was getting crazy D3 interest from early age. So thankfully, my mom, man, she was like, yeah, let's do all of it. So I treated my D3 college search almost like you would a D1. So I went to like 10 visits.
Yeah, and then
went across
you're supposed to.
And she was like, let's do it. So it was awesome. Like we really searched around. To be frank, I didn't want to go to Concordia. Like not even whatever. I ended up there, but like because my high school like had a pipeline. My coach went to Concordia. All these people did. So I remember always from a young age, you're stubborn.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I'm not going there. I'm gonna do something different, whatever.
Did you ever consider the Chicago Concordia? Was there an option?
I never really strongly considered it, but they were like in there. But see, what happened was I transferred. I went to
you went to Elmhurst.
Yeah. Right? So my big thing was in high school we didn't win that much, but obviously I did very well personally. So my goal for college was like, I'm willing to sacrifice as long as I wanted to get a winning team right away. I wanted to win right away.
Yeah.
So I went to Elmhurst, which was CCIW, which is probably one of the better
for sure.
D3 conferences.
It's lit in that conference.
Yeah, we were ranked the whole year. I didn't play that much, but we had a full JV schedule. So I was playing 20 games against like good competition. And I did get in a couple of varsity games, and I was doing scout team. I was like the scout team. I would always be like the scout team scorer for the other guy. Yeah. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it was a really good experience there. Elmhurst my first year. Shout out to all my Blue Jays. I really did like it there. But then I had two of my really close friends that were like considering transferring their colleges. And Concordia was still talking to me. And I was like, we could all go stay together, room together. They went to high school with me. I was like, all right. So it was a group deal. We all three of us came to Concordia together.
So say the name.
Me, Clint, and Evan.
Okay.
So we all came there. And Timmy, shout out to Timmy, he was already there.
Yeah.
So he went to high school with us. So we I was like, let's do it. Whatever.
Okay.
So then we transferred there my sophomore year, and
Okay. So you make that transition, Elmhurst to Concordia. When I was going to Benedictine, we played Elmhurst.
We played. I remember playing. We
played them, and then my senior year we played them too.
Yeah.
So shout out to Elmhurst, man. I love the gym. I just seemed like you could just jump higher in that gym.
Oh, dude,
bro. Like,
that's so funny that you said
that. What was up with the floor?
Freshman year during early practice, I was doing crazy dunks, and I was like, yo. I remember side of the backboard, You know, funny thing about that gym, Michael Jordan's basketball camp way back in the day was that
gym. I get it. So you make the transition, bro. You go from Elmhurst to Concordia. Explain and who was there when you sophomore year, who was there?
Skip, Kyle,
shout out to Barf, man.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of our whole senior class: Johnny Ulrich, Kyle Barth, Paul. It was a small senior class, if I remember right. If I'm missing you, I apologize. But yeah, so those guys were all there.
Luke wasn't there yet.
No, not yet. He came next year. And then Mitch, Matt, we were all the same year, but they were already they were a year ahead of me. Nick, Zach, everybody, they were a year ahead of me, and as far as in the program. But we were all the same year. And then I don't know if you know, but ironically, what happened was, I came in right away thinking all right, I came here so I could play a lot right away, and our first game when I got up there was against Parkside, so D2. Yeah. And they had looked at me, so I was kind of like, let's go. Yeah. I started my first game, and I was like, let's go. Yeah. And we end up I didn't play great, whatever, but we end up pulling off the victory. I think it might have been overtime, but we beat them. Yeah. So it was like D3 school beating a D2. I was like, let's go. Yeah. Go back to the dorms, and we partied the first night, and I got in trouble the first night. Bro, I got in trouble. My first game, I got in trouble. It was me and all my roommates from Chicago, and so then I got suspended a half a game, so I couldn't start the next game. Yeah. And if I'm being frank, I just felt like that kind of put me on a bad foot with everything. I wouldn't say it ruined it because I got one more opportunity to start, but I got in foul trouble or something like that. Yeah. And I just remember feeling like from that point on that I was like, it might have been in my head too, but I just was like, they were like, they think, this guy, this Chicago kid, is like whatever.
And I'm gonna be, I gotta show you some grace, bro. Yeah. Y'all was loaded, especially your senior year and junior year. Y'all was loaded, bro. Oh. So it might be that, but
no.
The bodies y'all had, bro.
I don't want to say if that didn't happen, I was going to be the starting point guard. I have a different game. Who ended up being the starter was Matt, who's he just plays totally different. Yeah, he's a facilitator. He kind of let the offense.
So what's your game, bro? So you played point in high school?
Or
a combo kind of.
Yeah, I was a point guard who scored all the points. So I think my more natural position is likely a shooting guard. But I played point guard a lot when you had to play point. Okay. And so that's what I was trying to do in college a little bit is I learned that too. Yeah, and also when you're a guard and you go to college, you better be able to shoot and you better have a floater. That's
right.
Because you're not just living off athleticism. No, they're a little bigger bodies, right? And I don't mean to say that means it ruined my career because I still think I had a fine. I was off the bench, scored, I had good games. I had whatever.
You should have redshirted so we could have played together, bro.
Yeah, right. But like you said, man, our team was so good and we really got along. I have no regrets about. I feel so lucky to be like junior and senior year were great memories, man.
It's crazy, really bro.
Memories, yeah.
Yo, junior year, I was a sophomore at Benedictine, and I didn't really play that much. But when y'all came to Benedictine, bro, y'all smacked us, and my dad was like, "That Lopez."
I think I had a good game.
He was like, "That Lopez dude, man, y'all need to make some adjustments, man."
Well, I will say that about my game is I think that there was, now when I'm older, I can look back. I think I just had some inconsistencies. Obviously, defense was never my main thing.
Yeah.
But like, if you caught me on a day where my offensive game was like going, you would have looked at me. Like I'm telling you, my coach at Elmer's, bro, he said in our speech at the end of the year, he was like, David has like almost Division I offensive talent. Yeah. But it was like everything else, and like consistency and like all those things. Like it wasn't always like that. But if you caught me on the right day, you'd be like, "What the hell?"
It's curtains, bro. It's curtains, bro. So we gonna keep transitioning. Junior year, had your sophomore year there, ups, downs. Not junior year,
undefeated in conference.
Oh, was nasty, bro.
Just a really fun team too. I don't want to say how much fun we had. We had the basketball house, so it was a fun year. And obviously disappointments at the end of the year. Disappointments with how it finished. We lost in the national tournament.
Yeah.
But the 2 times I made the national tournament my freshman year at Elmhurst, and then my junior year at Concordia. Ironically, both times we were at large bids. Which is like, if you know Division III,
that's great.
Very hard.
Tough, bro.
You have to have such a good season and then somehow get upset in your conference tournament, and that's what happened both times.
Because my sophomore year at Benedictine, we made it to the tournament, but y'all was clearly
but you guys won the tournament.
Y'all lost to Edgewood, right?
Yes.
But y'all clearly was the best team, bro. Like,
I don't want to. I mean, I think it's a different look. Once you get to single elimination playoff basketball, it is a different style of basketball. It's also a different style of coaching. I'm not trying to say anything, but it is.
No, we reap.
It truthfully is. I mean, look, once we get into senior year, I'll tell you how I feel. But I mean, it's just a different game. So like, things happen, upsets happen, things happen. So like, I think we're all proud of how that year went, but we all feel like we should have won at least our first round game. We lost.
Yeah, for sure. Which y'all was like in the 20. Y'all was ranked like.
I think we got up to like 17 or something like that. We had a pretty decent, for being a Concordia team. It was like a high.
I remember being on the bench, bro, and I'm seeing like Luke, I'm seeing Skip, you, Corey, Matt, Mitch. I'm like, this legit. They can legit go to D2 and like make some noise. Like, y'all had size. I think Steve was coming off the bench. Brian Jackson off the bench. Donaldson was back. Like, this is squad right here, bro.
And ironically, shout out to Coach Kane. We kind of played ahead of the time. It's like these threes and layups, basically, and like that's where the game is at now.
For sure.
We were kind of ahead of that. We shot a lot of threes, but now it's nothing. If you looked at the stats, you'd be like, that's nothing. But like at the time, we shot a lot of threes.
Y'all team was nasty though, man. So senior year, we're gonna make that transition. It's your last year. What's going through your mind, bro, when you get to senior year?
Well, I will. So to circle back a little bit is I always, when I was a young age, I was so obsessed with basketball, and then like once I started realizing, all right, I'm not going to the league, all these things, like I definitely had a goal of playing overseas. Like I always did, and that's part of the reason I actually went to Elmhurst, is because they had a couple guys who went overseas. The coach played overseas, so he had connections, and a lot of it is connections.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like junior going into senior year, obviously I had already kind of known. It seems like that likely wasn't happening. My career wasn't going exactly how that was. So I think I was mentally going through a little up and down, trying to figure out where I was at with everything. And that's kind of actually the time when I started taking acting classes, and I kind of started writing music. So my senior year, to be fully transparent, I was kind of, I wouldn't say half in, because I was still love hooping. I showed up to everything. It wasn't like I missed stuff. But I was already starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit, if you will.
So you're trying to start to make
I was writing, bro. Okay, look, man, going to all of our games. I remember being at CIT and being upset about playing time and stuff, and having a notebook and just writing raps and writing songs, and coming back from games, writing raps, writing songs, and like, so like my focus was shifting a little bit. Like I definitely, I can now look back and be like, I can see that my focus was shifting.
Bro. You should have faked the injury, red shirted, and then you and I could have been. Come on, man. Come on, man. But I will say, bro, with senior year, like Skip was gone, but y'all team was still nasty. And we split. Like y'all beat us once.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
We beat y'all once.
Yeah.
But like, and that was at the time when Brian was kind of like trying to convince me to come over there, because I just wasn't happy where I was.
Yeah.
But so y'all beat us. This was at Concordia, and I went out with y'all.
Oh yeah. That's so funny.
I'm gonna just say.
That was our recruiting pitch.
I'm gonna just say Lunas. I'm gonna just say that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna say Lunas. And I was sold after that. And then like I don't think this was the same day, but Brian randomly brought me to your spot when you was living off Port.
Yep.
Port Washington.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And I seen how y'all was like the camaraderie and just how y'all moved. I'm like, I'm sold. But that night, Lunas, I ain't need to see no more, man. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I mean, are you, not to call you back, whatever, like, was your team not that close at Benedict as far as the close-knit?
No, I'm gonna just keep it real. No, our group was super talented. Like, we had Nate Green.
I remember some of those guys.
Me, Ralph. Like, we, as just individuals, like, I feel like we was the most talented team in the conference. But we was like a made team. Like, guys was brought in, and we just, all right, go play. Half the team don't like each other. It was just like a mess, and I didn't want to be a part of that no more. So when I seen how y'all moved, and like y'all all like liked each other, like I'm pretty, like you said, like you probably was unhappy with like just some playing stuff, but you still loved the guys, 100%. Like, and I wanted to be a part of that, bro. Like, man,
I'm relatively proud of the way that I think a lot of us all handled. Like, look, man, we were all good in high school. We were all stars. Like, it's not like if you play in college, you were likely a star in high school.
Right.
I think because of the fact that we all got along, a lot of us handled some of the gripes that we had with that shit. Like, I'm sorry, I don't even know what I was supposed to say. I think we all handled it like well because we all just got along. And we were like, and at the end of the day, we all wanted to win. I really think we all just wanted to win.
Yeah, for sure.
We were like, let's figure it out. And some days, like, look, Nick might hit 4 threes. I might hit 4 threes.
Man, I forgot about Nick, bro.
Zach might have, whatever. Like, we were just like, it was like, hopefully somebody has a great game. Like, we'll figure it out.
I loved another thing that kind of sold me about Concordia is like the style of play.
Yeah.
Like, I love the fact that y'all basically ran a 3/4 press with Matt on the top.
Yeah.
Matt wasn't the quickest guy, but like the way he played defense and just the way he sped up people and just angles, and he was a pass first.
Oh, Pooch is a smart basketball player.
Like, I love Pooch game, and then the fact that like shooters was here, like what y'all had going on, man. I'm like, I gotta be a part of this, bro. Like somehow, and that's why like we joke, like I ain't know DLO ain't know I was coming there, but like it would have been dope to have you my senior year.
I would have liked that year.
Bro, you at the 2, me at the 3, man. We could have made some stuff straight, right. Come on, man.
You know what I should give a shout out to who I didn't mention earlier was Granny, Tyler Granrath. I don't think you probably
I heard no, I ain't played with him.
Granny, he was the senior before, but man, such a unique basketball player, like really like in between game. But like that dude, he also one of those dudes who like he sucked it up, like whatever that wasn't going right, but like he would have games that were just crazy games. Yeah. And you're like, oh, dude, this had like 20 and 12 or something like that. You're like, what the hell just happened? But senior year, man, like we still had a really good season, and but then we lost in the conference tournament. But the point I was going to make earlier about the coaching differences or whatever in the tournaments is like, I'll put it this way: I feel good about my last game because my last game I had 14 points in 12 minutes, and Steve, Zielinski, I think he had like 18 and like 12 minutes. Like, we both had really good games in short minutes. Yeah. And all I'm saying is, if you look back at that, it's win or go home. Yeah. I was not missing.
You got to ride the hot hand.
You have to ride the hot hand. So like, those are the things I can now look back and be like, yeah, man, playoff coaching is different. It's just
it is. Like, it is, and it's it is. You hit it right on the head, bro. But so senior year happens. That's your last year of hoops. Now it's time to kind of figure life out. Did you do like an extra year after you or you were done in 4?
I graduated in 4.
So you graduated in 4, bro. Now it's time to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
Explain the process, bro. Because I can say this as a former ball player, you kind of have that time when, like, I ain't gonna say you depressed.
Oh, you can,
but it's like, damn, man, I did this for so long, and now it's done. Yeah, you can do leagues and like little shit like that.
But it's not.
That's not the same.
It's never going to be the same as that.
So how did you cope with
Look, it is a not to get too deep or philosophical, but it's a slight it's a death. It's a death of that version of what your life was or whatever. Yeah. Like so I was upset. I was surprised. I mean, my senior year I was already going through it, but essentially what happened with me was that I started taking acting classes. Yeah. Actually I had electives. So my senior year I had extra electives. And I I remember working at my dad's office the summer before, and I just was like, let me do an extra job because there was extra gigs for movies and stuff. Yeah. So I did. I was like, it's not bad. So I took acting classes. My acting teacher at Concordia, shout out to Lori. She's still there running the theater program.
Oh, that's dope.
I just liked her, and she was a great teacher, and so she could see that I was like trying to get into it, right? And also at the same time, my roommates that I was living with were like making music. We were making funny songs, kind of. I was always the kid who made the highlight CDs for all the things. Like I was always obsessed with music, but I never was a musician. Yeah. So I was always obsessed with it and like into that world. But my roommates then started making music, so then I remember being like, all right, I'll write a couple. We'll do some stuff. So I was kind of dabbling, and then essentially what happened was my acting teacher, she was like, if you're serious about this, let's do private lessons, and I can try to get you into my agency. So right after I graduated, I got signed to I had an agent. I got assigned to an agent like right away, and then I was taking private lessons with her. So I was still coming to Concordia because I was doing acting stuff, and I ended up booking some work right away. I was on TV I was on this show called Unusual Suspects on the ID Network. I was like the main suspect. And that was like a couple months after I graduated. So I remember being like, yo, is this going to pop off? What's going to happen? I auditioned for season 1 of Chicago Fire. I was like, what is going on? So that did help the transition a lot. It was basically like I just went from basketball straight into art. And what I did was when I graduated, I told everybody, like, I did a couple plays. So some of my friends saw me act. And they were like, oh, I could see you acting. And then I got an agent, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. But really in my head, I knew that I loved music. Like I knew I loved rap. Like I could tell I did. But it was an easier excuse to tell people, even to tell my family, to be like, hey, I'm going to go be a bar back and a bartender and pursue an acting career, because that's what every actor does. They understood that more. Like people understood that. They were like, you know what? I could see you being an actor. I could see you. But in my head, I knew I really wanted to rap. Like I really, really wanted to make music. So I just ended up doing both. I just dove in,
bro. So we gonna transition. So in terms of rap, at what point did you know, like, okay, I'm dope at this? Like this, I got a knack for it. I got a knack for writing. I got a knack for just delivering lyrics. What woke that up into you? What point did you like, okay, this is me?
That's funny. Well, I went to school for journalism, and in high school I was like AP writing. Like I was always like I liked writing. My mom is a preacher, so I'm a preacher's kid. So I mean, I'm like speaking in front of people. Like I saw that my whole life. And speaking words that you wrote in front of people. For sure. So I always was comfortable with that, and honestly, just being a basketball player, I was always comfortable being on the stage. I didn't actually feel like I never felt like a musician. It took me so long to feel like a musician. I felt like a writer. I felt like I could come up with slick stuff. My delivery took a lot of time to get better. But you know what's funny is there's these early records that we made where like I can listen back now and be like, yeah, it's not great, but I just had like there was little pockets I would hit where I'd be like, there's something there. Like that was something. Like I'll come in on a funny song and I just have like 2 or 3 quick bars to start it off that I'm like, yo, like that's like it's not bad. Like, so it's kind of like just like in and out, ebbs and flows of it. And then so it took a lot of time and a lot of just writing, but I was obsessed. Obsessed early. Like I made 4 or 5 mixtapes in the first couple of years that were just like a lot of records. Like I was just making a lot of shit. The quality wasn't great, but that's what you need to do. It's like putting shots up. I had to get shots up.
Were you producing your stuff too, or
no,
it was just you get a beat and like?
Yeah, I didn't start producing until much later. Actually, producing is what ended up helping me really feel like a musician. Like once I started producing, which I would say was probably 2015. That's when I started like dabbling.
Okay.
Once I really dove into that, that's when I'm like, all right, I feel more like it helped me as a rapper too. I feel more like I could say I'm a musician. I don't play instruments, but my instrument is my voice, and I can produce and stuff like that. And it helped. It changed everything for me.
Man, that's dope. So, bro, let me ask you this. So, you said you was acting and you had the rap going on too. At what point was it like acting is cool, but rapping is me? This is what I want to do.
Well, Lori, my teacher, she always told me, she's like, if you want to be an actor, you better have something else you're obsessed with too. Because the difference with acting is that there's so much of it is not dependent on you. Like, I audition for things all the time. But like, I can only do my best effort, and then it's if the director sees the vision, if they see me, if they want me in it. So honestly, they always go hand in hand. I still love acting, and I honestly have had my biggest year this year. So,
no.
Yeah.
Speak on what you doing. Though. You can't just say that.
Oh, I definitely had my most. I mean, it's not crazy, but like my most successful year this year has been acting wise. Like,
say this.
I'm in a couple. I've been in a couple commercials this year. I did a movie role, and I just filmed an episode of Chicago Fire.
Come on, man.
I'll be in Chicago Fire.
Come on, man. Look at this guy, man, hiding the goods, man. Come on.
I'll actually tune into the first.
Plug yourself, man.
I think it's the first week of January that Chicago Fire comes out. I'll be in that.
In Chicago, that's like it intertwines with Law and Order, right?
It's
like
the same creator, Dick
same,
Wolf.
Okay, man.
Kind of, yeah. I think they're all in the same.
Did you have to go down to the shot to do that?
I shot that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I had a stunt double and shit, dude. I've never had a stunt double in my life.
Oh, man. Did he look like you or no?
Well, they gave him a fake hair bun. I never even used them because I didn't want to use them for my scene. But that's funny. I was like, yeah. So I mean, obviously, I'm pretty optimistic about that. And to be frank about acting, I'm like, bro, I think my most success as acting could come in my 50s, bro. Could come in my 60s. I mean, you think about it, bro. Like I mean, Denzel, like these guys that are older, and that's obviously I picked the most big name, but like they're doing huge roles when they're late in their life. Like I mean, acting doesn't limit you, and not only music doesn't really anymore. Yeah. But it used to be like, oh, what am I gonna do? Be a 40-year-old rapper? I don't feel that way anymore.
I'm gonna say this. Gladiator 2 is fire.
I want to see it.
Denzel, you a cruel mother. Just picture Training Day in Rome.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Actually, that's why I said Denzel's name because I was thinking of Gladiator 2.
Man,
I really want to see it.
Go see it, bro.
But like,
legit.
I mean, I feel like I could get a regular cast role on a show whenever. Like it could be whenever. So that's always been a long term. Like I look at a lot of stuff that I do with a long term vision.
Yeah,
if I love it, which is the same with the music. That's why I was okay with getting those reps up and sucking early.
Yeah,
because I was like, I have a long term.
You got to start from somewhere.
But not everybody's comfortable with putting themselves out there like that. And
that is true.
Yeah,
that is true. And that we talked before about something, and that played into that. So for sure,
you know what I think helps that honestly is sports. Like I really think I've had to learn this getting older, but like the value of sports is learning how to lose, and now as I get older, or learning ways to lose, learning like ways to go through things, whatever. And now as I get older, I do realize how many people just don't know how to lose, and just don't know how to take the positives from that and spin.
That's for sure.
And just don't know how to like figure out. You got to go through your lumps. You got to go through that and get on the other side of it. And so I think there's such a value to sports, like really.
No, for sure, for sure, for sure. So I want to slip back into the rap, but I want to show the fam some love, bro. So you was able to get with your beautiful wife, have your kids, man. We're gonna talk about fatherhood. So in that journey, and we both of us, two little girls. You said 3 and 2 for you, 3 and 10 months for me, bro. That balancing the fatherhood and being a husband along with your rap career, real estate. How do you balance all that?
Not easy. It's not easy for sure. But it's priorities, it's values. It matters. I mean, like I do out of town shows, and I want to take shows that I can. But now especially now with kids, and really, it's not even just having kids. It's also trying to be fair to your significant other.
Yeah, for
because you know what it's like to take care of the two of them at once.
For sure,
it can be a handful. I mean, like. And like you start to lose who you are as a person, as an adult. You're like, dude, I'm just listening to these kids scream at me or whatever it is. Like, and my kids are great, but you know. So I think it's just kind of wrestling, and like so it's helped me like say no. It's helped me learn to say no more. Like in those early years,
you say yes to everything.
100%. Like because you just feel like I gotta get on stage, I gotta do whatever. Yes. And now I'm just saying no more than I've ever said no. And the fear was always like, well, if you say no, you're gonna lose the opportunity. You're not gonna get them again. No, it's not the case.
Let me ask you this, and then we'll circle back to rap, bro. You having that family and just that unit, bro, how does that motivate the lyrics and the content?
Yeah. Well, my goal as an artist was always to be relatively transparent and tell my story and not like put up many facades and just be like,
for sure. And I got that from the album.
Thank you. Yeah, man. And my thing was so I wanted to grow musically as I was growing as a person too. So I didn't want to be like, oh, let me fake it, still talk about all this other stuff. So what it's done is just made like my music is like there's some dad raps, bro. There's some shit in there. And it's like, this is just real, bro. This is just how it is. Like I don't need my fans. I mean, of course, I'd love to have teenage fans. I'd love to have fans of all ages, but like my fans could be the same age as me, going through the same things that I'm going through, and that's that's where I think it's really been, is just like being like, let's just stay true to this. It's almost like I'm writing a book. Like, let's just like let's talk about what's going through it. Yeah.
And you need raps for the dads, man.
Yeah,
you
right.
Need raps for the dads, and just you need real life stuff. Everybody not trapping. No. Everybody ain't carrying the gun, man. It's people who got kids, people who work a job, people who got dreams, and would like to hear somebody who's going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And put that on wax. So I definitely got that from the album. So before we jump into the album, man, Passion Park. Explain that, man. Tell the people what that is, man. How you got involved, bro?
Passion Park Entertainment is my production company that I started in 2015. Essentially what happened was, so when you release music, when you release music on iTunes, Spotify, and all that stuff, I was just learning the game in 2015. I was making my first album, which was called Preacher Son. I found out that like you have to have a publisher and like a name. So when you go on iTunes, at the bottom it says like who, like it would say like AMG or UMG recorded, Universal Recordings, whatever. So I was like, oh, let me think of a name for my company. Like people were telling me, like, yeah, you can just put whatever. You put David Lopez, and I was like, like I said before, I was always thinking long term. I was like, let me make like a thing. So I was trying to think of what would be like my company, essentially my record label, but it wasn't a record label. It was just like my production company. And so I came up with Passion Park. J. Cole has always been one of my favorite artists. So Dreamville is a huge inspiration on the name.
Because
Dreamville, he's from Fayetteville, right? Yeah. And Dreamville. I'm from Rogers Park, Passion Park.
That's dope.
So Passion Park Entertainment, that's a lot of the nuance of where it came from. And so I LLC'd it right away back in 2025. Didn't really know what it was. It was just my publishing company.
Yeah.
And my homies rocked with it. So then whenever I did shows, I just had merch and just did whatever.
That's smart.
And then
that's smart.
A couple of years into the game where I was like opening for other artists and stuff, then I started throwing my own shows, and I would just be like, oh, it's a Passion Park show.
That's dope.
And it just kind of slowly evolved, and now it's like a real, we built a real community up here.
And like, it's such a beautiful name. Like when I think of that, I think of like East Side, River West, warm Saturday night in the summertime, just a vibe. So I dig the name. Like, now, in terms of Passion Park, is it just you, or you have producers under that, or you? I mean,
I don't have any. Like, it's technically just my company. There's nobody on it, but I mean, like the people that I work very closely with and that help with a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot. I mean, Jesus is, I say my number. Like, we do everything.
And that's the cat I was.
Yeah, amazingly talented artist. Shout out to bro. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who help with, and I would say like our Passion Park family. I would say, you know what I mean.
Let me ask you this, bro. You got the LLC, you got the dope name. Would you ever think of like, okay, man, I might need to get some artists underneath this umbrella? Would that ever be?
It would have to, it would have to get to a point where, first of all, I could manage that because I would never want to do anybody a disservice.
Yeah,
and be like, real. I can't handle it, and frankly, real. I just couldn't right now.
That's real.
But yeah, long term, 100%. I mean, I always looked at it like, I like the idea of just having a production company because I was like, shit. If I wanted to throw money into a movie, make a movie that I like, or make a script that I like, I have the company. So yeah, if there was an artist that I was like, yo, like I would invest in you or something like that. And if I was at the point where I could do that, I'd be open to it. It just has to, has to all work out.
That's dope. And then another thing, bro, you know what? When you start an independent label, let's say you got some dope stuff going on, and let's say like a Universal hear you or an Interscope hear you, and they're like, hey man, we can buy your label or buy a piece of you and get you, what'd you think about doing that? Selling part of the company to a bigger entity.
I would never rule anything out. The popular answer for me to say right now would be like, no, independent all day. We indie 100%. If you're a businessman, that doesn't make sense to just rule something out without listening to the other offers, right? So like, if we got to a point where we were getting offers and things were coming in, I would have to consider things. The main thing for me would be to always be able to maintain creative control, and I hopefully own my masters as long as I could, or at least like if you lease them out. There's a lot of real creative deals nowadays. I listen to a lot of like music business podcasts and stuff, and like I wouldn't be opposed to it. La Russell is one of my biggest inspirations right now. Currently,
smart dude too.
And yeah, it'd be impossible to not be inspired by how he's moving if you're an independent artist. But yeah, I mean, he talks about it all the time. It's like, you got to consider things that come in, but if they're not good and if it doesn't feel like it's a fair deal for everybody, then no. I mean,
I hear you, bro. And before we get into the album, as a fan, I got two questions I want to ask. It's not even a question; it's just something I want to throw at you. In terms of shows and just the whole vibe of your brand, and like what I think will be just super dope. So it's 2 areas. You ever been to the Village in Tulsa?
No.
So in Tulsa, they got like it's called the Village, but it's like a park. Then they got like a huge like outdoor stage.
Oh wait. I have been there. They have like a great park, right? The park is like awesome for kids.
Yeah. I've been there. But then if you go a little over, they got like an outdoor stage.
Yeah, we saw some event there this summer.
Would you ever think about doing a concert there, man?
Love to, dude. I would do.
Man.
I'm trying to get on. My manager is looking in the festival circuit now. I love those outdoor stuff.
You would do it?
Hell, come on, man. Can we make something happen together? Can we do something?
Can I come?
Come on, man. Let's do it.
Come on, cause like just
you can come on stage, man. Let's make it happen.
I do it, bro. Hey, man. Like just the vibe of your. I feel like just thinking easy. My dream is I would love to have a lounge.
Yeah.
That has certain music like you, certain artists like you that have that vibe and just live music. I love live music, bro.
Yeah.
So like just knowing like it's artists like you and others out there that could potentially do that.
Yeah.
Will be dope.
It's funny, that's what this album was.
Man. I feel like the Village, you and the Village, bro, on that outdoor stage would just
I'll look into it if we can.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, it'd be fire. And then another like location. I wouldn't necessarily say Brady Fest and like those festivals, but like somewhere on the east side.
We did. We headlined Center Street Days this summer. Which is like a River West festival.
Yeah.
We closed out the headline, whatever. We closed out with like an hour set on the main stage.
Oh, that's hard. Bro.
So that was our first really big festival set, I would say. Yeah. Also did Summer Park Jam, which was downtown. What was it called? Marcus Pavilion.
Yeah, that's hard.
Those two were like, and like I said, we're really pushing festivals for next year. So I'm really hoping that kind of like. The name recognition is growing a little bit, to be honest. So I'm
Tulsa
hoping.
The Village, I feel like would just suit you.
Yeah, I gotta get out there
somewhere on the east side, because when I listen to the albums, that's the vibe.
Yeah, man, that's the vibe.
That's the vibe I get, bro.
It's exactly what I wanted, so it feels good.
I'm plugging the album. Hold on.
Cafecito.
So let's dive in. And I don't want to be one of them interviewers.
Dude, this is great. I love
the album is dope. Oh, what songs you like? You know what? Overall, it's just dope, bro.
Exactly.
I ain't want to do that to you, bro. So I want you to speak on Cafecito.
I love this.
Then I'm gonna give you my input on it.
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap things up. So I wanted the inspiration behind it, bro. Speak on it, bro.
Actually, all right. So this is funny. So the album. This is the first time I ever did this process. Usually, like I'll get into album mode and it'll just be like album. That's all I'm doing. What happened with this project was actually the song Picadillo on the album, which has my grandma on it. Shout out to my grandma, rest in peace. But I said, I like the first line is like Cafecito con arroz y picadillo.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a second. And I was listening to Freddie Gibbs at the time, and he had the album with Alchemist called Alfredo.
Yeah.
And that is like a very like kind of smoothish. And so I remember thinking, I'm like, okay, there's an idea here. This was 2022, I think.
Yeah.
So 2 years before. So I was like, I just, for some reason, something sparked in my mind. I was like, I want to make an album called Cafecito, and I want it to be like a coffee shop, stripped down album, like really like, just like the vibes would be like that.
Yeah.
So what I did though was I was working on that album the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was also making I did a couple EPs with people. I did a boatload of singles. So those were kind of all my promo, but also those were me getting out the other styles. Like I was still doing like upbeat, like really like crazy records, but those were all on other stuff.
Let me dip in.
And then in the background, I was working on Cafecito the whole time. So it was like a 2-year process of working on the album, which I never have done. Yeah. And to me, it was the smartest thing I could do for it, because it really helped me hone in on the sound. And then bringing Jesus in to kind of just like make sure that I was not veering off of the sound.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So like, bro, just from what I get from it, I'm like, he got a certain vibe to him. Is that just the style that this is me, or was like for this album, I'm going to stick to this certain sound?
I think it's a little bit of both. Honestly, I think that I feel real at home with that style. Like that is my...
That's dope. That's you, bro.
That is what I like the most. Preacher's Son, man. You can get my vocals are a main instrument. They're a level. They're like an instrument that is like up in there, right? Yeah. And so I think that is definitely my predominant style. Yeah. But then, like, I also love other music too. So, like, I still make other records. I want to make hits. I want to do all that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think where I feel most at home is records like Cafecito. Like, for sure. Like, that kind of style is, like, my stuff. Bro. That's what I listen to, too.
So, on the name, bro, Cafecito.
Yeah. I'm Cuban. I'm half Cuban. So, like, my, grandma, my dad, like, always drink coffee. And it's always, like, you call it Cafecito. It's like a little cup of coffee in the morning, or like espresso type thing. And I wanted, so there's a lot of things to the name, but I like names for albums and for songs, honestly, in general. But albums specifically, I like names that have multiple meanings for sure. So I wanted it to be an album that you could listen to in a coffee shop. Also, the idea of it was like it's me waking up to myself and waking up to your own greatness and waking up to like what you have in you and like waking up to just a lot of things. So like that was part of it. It was like, you know, breath of fresh air, kind of like you wake up type of thing.
I get
so
that.
I was just like they all kind of came together. And plus the Cuban thing really is like I wanted to make a record that like if you notice, I mean I got my grandma's vocals on it, I got my dad's vocals on it, I got my daughter's vocals on it. I got like
that's dope. That's dope.
Actually, so my wife are slightly vocal, like very you can't hear it, but like I tried to get like everybody on.
So you Cuban and Mexican?
No, I'm just Cuban and white, half Cuban and white. Yeah, no Mexican. The Lopez is just
my bad, man.
That's all good.
I had to ask, man.
That happens.
The best Cuban basketball player I've ever came across.
Oh, there we go.
So there we go. So I'll get into it, bro. Just my takes on the album.
Yeah,
so,
let me hear it.
Intro, dope.
Yeah,
and like it's an intro that like it eases you into like what you're about to listen to. It's not like a rah rah like damn, what the hell is it? Like
I grew up in the '90s, man. I like those old school albums where with a real intro track, a real intro track, and that's what I felt like. Actually, shout out to E-Word, the producer. Interesting thing about that is I made the original beat, and to my verse, I had it done, made original beat, totally different, and then Jesus, we hopped in and we were like, yo, let's do something. We did our vocals, sent the dry vocals to E-Word, and he produced around the vocals. So he did it like that. So it was a little different process, which was super creative. But we knew, we were like, hey, make it sound like a coffee shop.
Dope. So, Rooster Crows.
Yeah.
Speak on that.
Shout out to Zeus, man. Free Zeus. That was a record that was like, I wake up before the Rooster Crows. Which is what Cafecito was. Like, I wake up before the Rooster Crows, got a lot on my mind. That's what the booth is for. Was like, yo, I like to create a lot in the morning. That's actually another impetus for making Cafecito is that my favorite time to create is in the morning, like early in the morning.
I'm gonna say this, bro. If you want to get somewhere in life, learn how to get up early. All this sleeping till noon, like, nah, bro. Learn how to get up early and take advantage of the morning, man. So, like, I'm with you on that for real. Like, I'm with you, bro.
Early morning, I'm determined. All this fuel I got need burning. I just had this conversation with my wife this morning. Like, especially with kids, it's tough because you're trying to figure out how to get up before. You got to, like, beat them.
For sure.
Actually, the hard part during the NBA season, as somebody who loves basketball, is going to sleep on time. Because I like these West Coast games, bro. Staying up in these West Coast games, put the kids to sleep. I want an hour to myself.
9:30 tip and stuff.
It's tough. So, but I totally agree. So, Rooster Crows was really just about being like, you know, early in the morning, grinding, figuring out how to make stuff work. You know, that's kind of what it was. And Zeus, who's on that record, he actually really, he actually started that record.
Okay.
I produced that one though.
Okay, all right, bro. Let's get to the next one. I need you to explain Pickup. Explain it, bro. Explain it, bro. I want to hear it from the man himself.
Yeah, inspired by a lot of, I would say, Take Care from Drake. There's an inspiration there.
I can hear that.
Jesus helped co-write the chorus. We were on a long car ride and we were like talking about, hey, we want to make this kind of record.
Yeah.
The idea was like, I wanted to get voicemails. I have voicemails on my dad from there. It was like, look, you get really busy and I miss calls. I don't always get to answer like I should.
It's like, when I was listening to it, I'm like, I don't know if they got friction there or like it's something. I didn't know. I need to hear from
really
from
close
bro,
with all
like,
my family. Nothing like that. But that, you know, I think it's a relatable feeling to be like, all these missed calls, but I miss y'all. Like
that's real.
Like all this business. I call it business, but like it's tough to balance the whole thing. And I think everybody feels really busy now, especially with our phones and everything. You feel busy all the time.
Kids now.
And we are busy. Like it is what it is. But trying to remember not to neglect the people that are close to you was really the point of that record. And
that's hard, bro.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an emotion record to listen to. I'm like,
that's what I'm like. Let me ask him. I'm like. D-Lo sound like he going through some.
That's good. I want that to be.
Or this record.
Yeah.
So next one, bro. Key to the City.
Ah, man.
Slang.
A little bit of flexing.
Yeah.
I produced that one. That's one of my favorite beats that I've ever made. Man.
Yeah.
That's how I explain it. The Keys to the City. Well, it was really that I just felt like Milwaukee was becoming like I mean, it is like a home. Like obviously, it's not where I'm from, but it's my home.
Shout out to you for that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's real.
Yeah, like I ain't even from the middle of 414 was rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
shout out.
That's what I really felt like, and that's kind of just what I was trying to say on that record. And what I did, that song and a couple of the songs on the album, I did this weird thing where I would post on Instagram. I'd be like, it was like a Wednesday or a Tuesday. I'd be like, hey, I got 2 days free. I'm about to make a beat, make the song, and put it out right away. Mm-hmm. So Keys to the City, Too Late, 2 p.m. in Milwaukee, all 3 of those records, which are almost the 3 biggest records on the album, all were made in 2 days and put out immediately. No rollout, no game plan, nothing. It was just, that was the strategy. It was like, just post on Instagram, do this.
Is it, so with that, bro, so putting out a record with no promo, is that common or is that?
I mean, it's lazy. I mean, it's common amongst people. Like, I don't know, like as an artist, you're natural. And you're like, there's 2 things to it, right? When you do that, there's an energy that's different because you just made the record. And when I just make a song, bro, you think it's like it's your best. The song you're working on is your favorite song of all time. Like
that's real. No, that's
almost
real.
Always, it's like the newest thing you do is the best thing you do.
That's real.
So there's a different energy behind it, and I think that's part of the reason those records did well. Is that I was so into them right away. Yeah. I'm like, yo, listen. Yeah. And I think it worked out that way. And Keys, man, love that, right? I do love that song. Like,
let's keep moving, bro.
Patty Mahomes, bro. And the crazy thing too is that Chiefs ended up being in the Super Bowl when the album came out.
I thought you made it after.
No, bro, it was the album came out Super Bowl weekend. Yeah. And Keys to the City is one of the biggest songs that came out with Super Bowl weekend. Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. I'm like, yo, Patty Mahomes.
Let's keep moving, bro. Different times. Mm-hmm. Biggest theme I get is inspiration.
Yeah.
Explain, bro.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite songs to perform. I've been doing it since the album came out, and it really resonates every time I perform it. Like I think people really feel that. I mean, that record is just all about waking up early in the morning and getting to it before people could. Yeah. 60 seconds in a minute, but I get more with mine because that's just me feeling like that. You know, the biggest thing for me as an artist, what I learned later on, shout out to Amir Tripp, who's like an artist from Chicago, who's he was just somebody I worked with as a young age, but really helped me a lot. And I remember him telling me, like, you know, music, we're just trying to capture a feeling, right? And what I've really learned to translate as I got older is every record I make, all I want to do in that 2 or 3 minute span is capture that feeling. So whatever that feeling is, I want to get the essence of it. Yeah. So whether or not 100% literal true, I like metaphors a lot, and I like to keep it close to true. I just want to capture the feeling of being like, I feel like right now my work ethic is better than everybody. That doesn't mean like I always feel like that. I feel lazy sometimes. I feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. Well, but at the time, I was trying to capture the feeling of like, nobody's outworking me right now. I'm gonna do this.
I feel you. I feel you, bro.
I'm on a different time. Like, all
right, next record, and this might be close to the heart, man. Hold Me Down.
Yeah, that's
Hold Me Down. Explain, bro.
Yeah, that's one of the realest verses I think I've actually even the chorus is just real. It's about balancing relationships and money issues and having a partner that's willing to hold you down. Essentially, that really is it. And it's funny because that's like a low key. It wasn't a single. It's like a low key record, but like I definitely have had people reach out to me and be like, "Yo, this is the one that I touched," because that's all it is. I'm trying to capture that feeling of being like, "Yeah, I know I'm not on top of the world right now." Like it might feel like it because even when you're doing well musically and people are reaching out to you, you're probably not. Everything ain't what it seems. It's never is what it seems, right? Yeah. So you always, to be able to acknowledge that somebody is holding you down, but also to be like, yeah, we're fighting or whatever it may be. But then at the end of the day, it's like, appreciate you holding me down.
Did you let the lady listen to it before you dropped it? Or
I don't know. No, I didn't. Like, that's not a thing where I'm like, shout out to my wife at this point. I don't anticipate her, like, she's listening to my stuff, but like, I don't go out of my way to be like, she's got to be like, whatever. And unfortunately, it just comes with the territory when you marry an artist. I'm just like, you're involved with this.
Man, she got to hear that one, bro. That like, I felt that one because I will say, like, I'm not a rapper, but I'm definitely trying to like figure out other ventures and like tap into passions that I have. Like I cut hair, trying to get the pod off the ground, and sometimes like that's sacrificing time away from the kid. Like my kid's upstairs with my wife, but because she believe in what I got going on, she believe in the vision and she support me. She takes time with the kids when I'm not up there. So she held me down. So that was one of the songs. Like, I feel you, bro.
I think that's
I feel you on that one.
I think what you're saying is real and super relatable, and honestly, like necessary. Is like people need to have passions and obsessions or things that they love that are outside of their things to keep sanity, right? To keep it.
Man, you hit it right on the head.
Yeah, bro. And it matters, and to have somebody who's willing to accept that and whatever, and then like vice versa, you do the same if somebody.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Sure. That means a lot.
Sure, man. I had to bring it up, man. Another one. How do I?
That's a mental health record. Yeah,
okay, because I'm like, is that about his pops? Is it about?
Yeah. My verse in particular is actually a really emotional verse for me to listen to. Yeah. Really short verse. I honestly, it's funny because that verse hasn't gone crazy or anything, but I feel like it's one of my most concise. Like it's 8 bars, I think, or maybe I think it's 8, but it's short. Might be 12, but it's like I got to the point really quick, I think. And it really is. And I talked about this in my music before. I made one of my early singles called For You, made a music video, and we talk about mental health. And like, my dad is, I mean, I'll just say he's been clinically depressed for most of my life. Like, and not, I mean, like he's phenomenal. I have great parents, a great childhood. And I don't mean to say it like that. I more mean to say it like, this is something this is a real thing. It's a real,
everybody go through
100% a real thing. Yeah. And so like I try to talk about those things when I can, be delicate and sensitive, but like like you're going through it. Like, you're going through it every day. It's a real thing. Yeah. And then my guys who I got on the song, so Zeus, who's on Rooster Crows, Avery and Zay, who are on Hold Me Down. I'm sorry, How Do I? They're all brothers, and they all are super talented artists, but also just like very vulnerable and willing to talk about these things. So like it was a perfect record. It all kind of came together. And Avery, shout out to Avery, he had that chorus, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, you know what it was about? It was about men's mental health. That's what the record was about. Because he was like, he told me, he was like, I want to make something where we talk about how men go through it and they have to be tough and they can't cry and they can't be vulnerable about their emotions and stuff. And I was like, let's do it. Let's make the record. Let's do it. And
that's real.
I think it's really important, man. This is what I'm trying to do with like make timeless, long-term music, is just to be like, I just want to make important music, like important art. Yeah,
that's dope. I got to meet Zeus, bro.
Yeah.
I was a fan, bro. I got to meet homie. I don't know what he looked like. I don't know.
Well, I do want to differentiate. So Zeus on Rooster Crows is different from Hey Zeus.
So you got Zeus and Hey Zeus. I want to meet both of y'all, man. Both of y'all, Zeus and Hey Zeus. But yeah, man, like nice. So what's the next one? Made with Love, bro.
Yeah.
Speak on, and it's a dope core, and I might be looking too much into it.
What?
While they all in the front, I'll pull up to the back. Well, no, that's 2 p.m. I'm jumping in the car. Yeah. But Made with Love.
Yeah.
Speak on
Made with Love, bro. I love that rap. I love performing that song too. Just rap. I was just rapping, but I also was like, the main line of that song is "This feel like home cooking, got the family recipe." This feel like home cooking, because I was trying to make a song that just kind of felt like Made with Love, too authentic, cannot replicate, right? So like, it was just the vibe of it. I was just getting in there, and I love that record, bro. I said, bro, come on, man. When been on this crazy run. I went for a jog. How'd I end up on this crazy run?
Yeah,
like, that's me. I'm like, come on.
What? Let me ask you this, bro. When you creating a record, and like you said, bro, sometimes you like to just go in there and rap. What's the best vibe for you? Having a pen and a pad, having bars written down, or just scrapping and going in there? Let me get this. Let me just go in there and just freely just spit some shit.
I'm a writer for sure. I write on my phone though now.
Okay.
I used to write in the pen. I had notebooks filled back in the day, but now I write on my phone. I would never have ever considered myself like a good freestyler. Like but I mean, you grow up with it. You're in the car with all your homies there rapping. But I have like challenged myself to be like, all right, let me go in there, 2 bars, record 2 bars, whatever. Like, do this off the top. Occasionally I'll do stuff like that. Jesus is actually he'll challenge me sometimes. Be like, let's do it like that. Let's try it. So I like to try different things, but generally speaking, I am a loop the beat, like let the beat just loop, and I'm writing. I'm just writing. Writing.
That's dope. That's dope.
And I don't like to just be like, hey, the inspiration hits, so now let's go. But I do both, because you also got to sit your ass in the chair and be like, let me just do the work.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like get through the times where you don't feel inspired. But for me, it's just like locking in. I need to lock in and just have nothing. Like,
that's dope. That's dope.
And home studios. I'm gonna say this. If there's one piece of advice I can give to every artist, is like, even if you don't record the songs that you're going to put out at your crib, you should have a home studio. It's the same as having a hoop in your backyard and getting shots up. Like it is the one big thing that I would say changed everything for me is learning how to record myself and then getting better and better and better. And now, I mean, like I recorded that whole album and mixed it and mastered it. And like, it's all me. Like, and that takes time and money from the studio that you would be spending. It's a game changer. It'll change your career longevity. Like
that's dope.
100%. Like
last one, bro. 2 p.m. While they all in the front,
I just pull up in the back.
I pull up in the back. No, like I said, I'm not a rapper, but I'm like, let me look deep into that. Is there a deeper meaning to that, or that means no? They was just literally all in the front, so I'm gonna just.
Well, I just mean like everybody fronting about whatever.
That's what I got.
And I'm like,
bro.
I'll just slip.
That's what I got.
Well, you know, my favorite line from that song is in my bag, like I'm about to go hoop. Spent the bag on the kicks, but they still can't shoot. What?
There you go, man.
Because it's all about the fronting thing. That's why it goes right off of that. It's like,
that's what I got.
It's about the skills and about the actual game and what you're doing, and not about the flashy stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's about that, and that's kind of what the core of the album is. So like that's why that song is near the end. I mean, it's my most successful song too.
Yeah.
And that record, you know, when people ask me sometimes, they're like, "What's your favorite song you've ever made?" Or like, "Give me one song to listen to." And it's always hard to do as an artist, but that song I actually feel like kind of encapsulates who I am in like 2 minutes. Like it's like real quick. Like
that's dope.
Yeah. The song is like, I think they thought that I would just fade away, get married, have some kids, move away.
Yeah,
fade.
hard line.
No, like you married, have some kids, you can still do your thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I can't believe you listen to the whole album.
Man, bro, first of all, like I said, I am not gonna be one of them fake people. Man, that album was dope. What you listen to? Oh man, all of it, bro. Like, I ain't know not one song. I ain't gonna do you like that, bro. Man, and like you want to support. So overall, just my feedback on it. It's a dope album. It's a vibe, bro. Yeah, like summertime, walking on the east side, walking on Brady Street, just over somewhere. You hear that, and that's what it reminded me of. And I wanted to just ask you as an artist, because you got a certain vibe. And like with this album, I feel like you got to actually sit and listen to it. You can't just have it bumping in the car. And it just, so with your mindset, lyrically you nice. You put pen to paper and can write. Just with the nature and landscape of the rap game today, what's your strategy on penetrating that? So you can be heard, because it's not a heavy bass.
No.
Talk about trap. Like, how can you make your message heard?
This is funny because this is exciting. I wanted to talk about the music landscape in general because remember this is the reason I reached out to you. I was like, come on, man. Like, I mean, I think this is why I think what Russell is such a good example is if you can cultivate a community that is real and organic and that's not based on some facade you're putting it up, it really is generally speaking who you are and what you do. I feel like more so than ever, it's really important to build a community locally and then kind of let it branch out. Hits matter. TikTok hits matter. Going viral matters. Like that does help. And I obviously want that to happen. I post all the time and stuff. But the most important thing that has happened to me has been that I started this monthly show and it's been based on like helping independent artists and getting them on stage and not judging and not charging artists and being like, every month I start the show off by doing a Q&A and I said, who dropped music this month? Make some noise, be proud.
That was dope.
Be proud of yourself, because no matter what, if you put music out, that is an accomplishment. To the point before, it's like not everybody's willing to put themselves out there like this. It's a big deal. And it's helped dramatically, and I don't do that. Like, that's really who I am. So like, I don't want to feel like I'm doing that fakely, but like it has helped too. Like it really has. And so I think for me, as far as like, getting my music, to the masses, which is still obviously a goal, it's just steady growth. It's just constant growth.
That's real. Constantly
getting better while also building your community and your base and not neglecting the people that have cared early. And it's hard to do. I cannot respond to every message. I cannot respond to every
for sure. You one person.
Like
you one person.
But making sure that my values, long term wise, are not compromised. We
say it. No pity party. No pity parties. Say that. But like, as a fan of your music, I think that's what a lot of people want. They grow with an artist. They like, Kanye, for example.
Yeah.
It's a lot of college dropouts, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Graduate, all of that. You followed him when he was that. Then he grow and turn into something where you like, this ain't the same.
Right.
Yay. And you dying for that old one to come back. So like, as a fan, I'm with you when you want to see the artist you love still be the same guy. You can grow. Yeah. Sound can grow a little bit. Production can grow. Get more money. But like, he still is the same guy to his core people.
I think Cole and Kendrick are pretty good examples of this. Cole specifically has not really... Obviously, the apology about with the beef and stuff is like a thing that people whatever. But to me, that is actually him staying the most to himself. Like he did stay to himself and who he is at his core, and he didn't shy away from that, which is something that most people I think wouldn't do. Like,
for sure.
I'm not, whatever. But to me, it's like exactly that is like. Kendrick too. Kendrick actually has stood on his.
I gotta listen to his new album, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about it.
It's hard, bro.
I listen to it. I'm not one who ever likes to like. I like to like sit with. I'm a listen.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Who's let me ask you like who's your favorite like artist? Like, do you have like somebody who's like in your rotation?
Bro, it's so hard because like it depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's
like true. I'll say this, bro. If I'm cutting hair, I might have like a Nas Illmatic.
Oh yeah, let's go.
I might have like a Juicy from Biggie. Or Common. Common is my favorite artist out of Chicago.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Like that type of vibe, the New York boom bap.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah.
When I'm cutting hair, because I gotta focus and I'm lasering in. I'm about to hoop. I'm gonna go down south. I'm gonna listen to like some Project Pat. Some Yo Gotti.
Project Beta.
So, I need that. I need that into the rotation. But if I'm trying to be like fly, I'm about to go out. I might play some like West Coast.
Yeah.
Q.
Where are you at with? I'm to be honest. What's funny is like I listen to R&B almost more than I listen to rap. Like I love R&B. Like
I'm with the wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the wife, trying to get romantic with the wife. We might have some of that in the mix. So with me, bro, it's all about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
All about what, like, when I was cutting my hair and listening to your album, I'm like, that's the perfect soundtrack.
Oh, dude,
it's a vibe, bro.
I gotta push this to barbershops now.
You do, bro. Like barbershops. You ever been to? It's this clothing store on the east side called Urban Underground. I think it's called Urban Underground. It's right by my Fishers off.
Right there.
Off Brady.
Why do I feel like
I'm like DLO?
I gotta have my shit.
His music will be perfect, or like a Forever 21, or like
like I need that.
That would be him. So, but like with me, bro, it's all about what I'm doing. Or when I need to get motivated, I might listen to an up tempo.
More common than ever. I ask people all the time. If I talk to music, I'm just like, hey, what kind of music do you listen to? And almost like nowadays, almost everybody says everything.
Bro, like,
it all fuses together. I think there's just a lot of elements of other music in other music now. I mean, look at Shabuzi, for example. Right. You're like, bro, like, there's so many elements of rap in that country song. Like,
for sure. And that's the beauty with just music, because it's art at the end of the day. And it'd be hard for me to just say my favorite is this, because I don't do one thing all the time. Like, I do different things. That's
it. That is it. When I was like I don't want to say deciding, but when I was like, I am going to take artistry serious and do it. Tupac is one of my biggest influences ever, because I grew up. My older brother had the greatest hits Tupac CD, so I remember being a really young kid and listening to that and having it. And what I always thought about Tupac and what I always said was like, what he did was encapsulate all sides of being human. So the angry stuff is what a lot of us remember. But that's not. You go back and listen. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of these things. And I always said, I think part of it's being a preacher's kid, but I was like, I want my art to be the full picture of what it's like to be a human. Like, just like everything. Like, you'll hear angry records from me, not that often, but you will. Like,
I can't see it, bro. I can't see it, bro.
When I was younger,
But, dog, so we went from Chicago, playing ball with your brother.
Yeah.
Then we go to Luther North, Elmhurst, Concordia. Then we go to acting. Then we go to rap. Talked about fatherhood, being a husband, 2 kids, cafecito. So I feel like I got your story. Now, in terms of your rap career, passion part, and where you want to take it, bro, what's the end goal?
Yeah, consistency and just steady growth is definitely like, because I don't like to how I view this is with I don't want to have the idea of burning out, and I think you said these crazy like there's two mindsets of setting lofty goals, right? If you set a really lofty goal that's crazy, but you end up like I don't know halfway there, it's still probably success, right? So it's like there's a line there where you're like whatever, but then also you set goals where you can hit too, right? So for me, it's about incremental growth. Like I'm 34 years old, and I don't imagine that I'll be stopping entertainment anytime soon. So like it's incremental growth every year. Next year, I'm hoping we book some bigger festivals. I'm hoping I can get some. I really want obviously the brand to grow, Passion Park, but I want my name recognition as an artist. Like you have to go out of your way. I tell this to young artists too, is like you really kind of have to focus on that. Like if you are imagining yourself as an hour headline artist, which I always have, imagine myself as like I could do hour and a half sets. I want to be a headliner. You kind of have to put yourself in those positions, right? So that's really been the best last year or so. I've been really focused on like making sure that those things are coming through, and like venues are seeing me that way, and people are seeing me that way. Obviously, I have to sell tickets. I think one of the real goals would be like I can sell a lot of tickets and get a lot of plays and stuff. But I think that comes in time. You just incrementally keep growing. Hopefully, get a bigger budget for marketing and all that stuff too. But I think everybody's. That helps. I think everybody's in the same boat with that. From starting a podcast. I had a podcast years ago, and it's not easy, man. And there's so many podcasts going up every day. Man. And you're like, what separates? Is it the quality? Is it the content? Is it just the marketing money? Like you don't know. Like you just, but that's why you can't lose sleep over it. You kind of have to do your best, keep going, and keep trying new things. Yeah. So that's what I would say is like, I just want to keep trying new stuff with how I release stuff.
I would say, bro, the biggest thing just with the pods and just any type of passion is just staying true to self. Like you're gonna have days when like what you think is dope, the masses might not accept, but that don't mean you change who you are as a person. I don't do this, but I'm gonna do this just to try to get some blood. Like, nah, that's not how we move.
I think the frustrating part nowadays though is that while that's true, some people feel like the masses and the people don't even see it. Like that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's the problem is like we're dealing with this weird time that we're like, how do we figure? This is why I actually think that about like boots on the ground and like the community thing matters a lot.
No, for sure, for sure. That's
like frankly, I don't know if you've ever considered doing like a live pod or even like a live event, where you're just involved. Those things really matter because like I think like getting those things out there
for sure.
I'm curious about you. Like, what are your goals with the podcast? Like, what are your visions for it? Like,
I said it. I did a video on it actually a week ago.
Okay.
So eventually, bro, I want to get a warehouse.
Oh yeah.
I want to get a warehouse, and I want to do because I have more than one pod. I have a pod where I'm in the shop, cutting hair. I do that. Then I have a basketball pod.
Is that the one? Like I saw a couple.
Yeah. I have a basketball pod too. So eventually, I want to have a warehouse where I can shoot both pods, and then I'm a truck driver.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to acquire a truck, have a truck pod too, have a semi, have a Sprinter van, and just have my whole operation out of one warehouse.
I think that is the goal. I think that's a real goal. Like that is a real tangible, makes sense.
Yeah.
And please have me on the basketball show because I would talk 3 hours about basketball.
Come on, man. So this is how the show go, bro. So you ball players, we've been in the gym. We just go in the gym by ourselves, just getting shots up, and we talking to ourselves.
Smack for like
by ourselves. There ain't nobody in the gym. Right. Talking shit. But I'm like, dude, that's real.
Yeah.
Any real ball player who was good back in the day did that. So I'm like, then let me get a camera going.
I mean, I love that these new basketball podcasts have been. I don't listen to all of them, but like all the smoke or like it's good because like I was like, this is how it feels when you go to an open gym and you're on the sideline waiting for the next
man.
Like,
it's talking. Real. So like, and like, bro, I'm not just one thing. I love ball. I love cutting hair. I love truck driving, bro. I love my family. So be able to have all that encompassed into one venue. My family can come whenever they want to. My homies can come get cut up and talk some ish on Cut Talk.
Dude, that would
but that's
awesome, man.
Bro, that's the end goal, bro. And like dip my hand in real estate, dip my hand in other ventures. Like say you pop off, we partner with Passion Park.
Come on, man.
And we go to the village.
That's part of
DLO do his thing.
That's part of the reason I just mentioned an event thing. Bro, I was in my head. I was like, I feel like
I'm telling you, and I'm not no manager, but as a fan on a warm Friday or Saturday night.
That's where it's at.
To see you there performing.
You cracking?
That'd be real, bro.
I'm gonna tell my manager right now.
That'd be real.
To send this clip
to
my manager.
The village. Hey, manager, listen to the kid.
Shout out to Mo. Shout out to Mo.
Listen to the kid, man. But like, dog, it just been an honor to have you here.
Come on,
before we get you out of here, I need you to plug this guy right here, Cafecito, the album, where they can find you, how they can listen to you, how they can follow you.
Yeah. Well, David Lopez on all streaming platforms. Just that's my name, government name. You know, is what it is. There's a lot of people with my name, but you'll see my face. So
there's only one DLO, man.
Yeah. Cafecito is the album, but yeah, on socials, I'm the David Lopez. Passion Park ENT is on all the socials. PassionParkENT.com is our website. We have a monthly show, the third Friday of every month. There actually might be a venue change, so I'm not even going to say too much about it. But if you're interested, look up Passion Park ENT, third Friday of every month. And I'm around, man. I'm easy to find, honestly. I'm not like easy to find, hard to miss. Hey, looking far. That's a bar right there. But I appreciate you having me, man. It's great, man. Chopping it up.
Pleasure, man.
To your point, I know we're done here, but like when you were saying earlier about having all these aspects in you, I know a lot of people who like do music and do art and are obsessed with it, and that's the only thing. I still love basketball Basketball is my first love. Like it is my love.
Oh yeah,
and
it's hard to drop that.
My baby. Like I went to school for sports journalism. Like I could talk about basketball for fucking ever. Pardon my French, but I can't. And I think that's part of the reason that I still love everything else so much is that I have that love too. You know what I mean? So it's like let's just keep being full humans, doing what we love, and not shying away from it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, the myth, the legend. You heard him first. And man, shout out to you. Shout out to Concordia.
Shout out to see you, dog.
Man, it's always cool to have a Concordia brother with me. Like I said, he should have red shirt so we could have played together. He should have did that. We can go back. He should have did that. We lost to Lakeland by 1 point in our career. This man could have gave us 15 to 20 to.
Didn't we lose to Lakeland in our last game too? I hate you. Man, I hate you.
Whack, man. But yeah, man. It's DLO. David Lopez, please. My man plugged me. Gave me the merch. I'm rocking with this, man. He gave me the bookmarks. Man, go listen to the album. And don't have it in the car blasting for 30 minutes and you put it down. Take like 2 hours. Listen to it. Clean the house to it. Have a vibe.
There's a deluxe edition, by the way. I don't know if you heard. There's 6 extra songs.
I'm on the deluxe division now, man. But homie DLO, appreciate you for coming
through, sir.
Shout out to the fam. Shout out to the kids, man. I want you to keep doing well, bro. I'm a fan of the art. And I love you, brother. So it is what it is, man. It's Cut Talk. Appreciate him coming by. Hopefully I had this out tonight or tomorrow, man. Y'all can check me in and check it out. So the homie DLO, David Lopez. We tapped in, man. It's Cut Talk.
Let's get it.